This is the beginning of tape number 5. We are back in the record at 3:18.
Mr. No, my name is Stuart Harmon. I represent Tuan Tran in this matter. I have a number of follow-up questions for you. Primarily, my questions, I apologize, my questions may jump around a little bit as I'm just going to be trying to follow up on some things that you've previously discussed. I want to start with the, does the Congress produce any sort of publication on regarding who is on the executive board and a synopsis of the last 4 years or the 4 prior years prior to publication of events of the Congress, activities of the Congress, resolutions of the Congress, things of that nature?
Objection big.
The publication of the member was produced annually of the executive board, and also the title would be produced annually after the annual open forum.
Is there ever any book that's produced by the Congress on a every about 4-year basis?
There's no such thing. All the members, all the congregants have attempted to collect the annual release and put it into a publication. However, it is not something that the Congress would produce.
So just members from various congregations do that on their own?
Yes.
Congress has never produced anything like that?
Officially by the Congress, no.
So if there were such a book, it would not have been published by the Congress at any time from today going back to the beginning or the inception of the Congress.
Objection asked and answered.
The inception of the Congress started way before it became a legal entity. The conception started in 1975, but it did not become a legal entity until they registered in one state of the United States.
And when was that?
I would say around 1983.
83? And where? In which state?
In California.
Okay. How about, so let's go from that date to the present. Any time since 1983 to the present date, has the Congress ever published any such a sort of a publication?
Objection asked and answered.
To what kind of publication are we talking about?
Like we were just talking about, that would list
a compilation.
Yeah, a synopsis. It's like a book.
No book.
Okay. Have they ever produced any other compilation which would contain a synopsis, a list of executive board members?
Only by the annual release.
And that the annual release is put out annually on a yearly basis?
On a yearly basis.
By the Congress?
Yes.
By the executive board?
Yes.
And what does the annual release contain?
The member of the executive board and the member, of the certain committees, and the directive from the patriarchs in Vietnam.
How long does a member of the executive board serve for?
Being voluntary, they serve it as long as they've been asked.
As long as they're asked?
That's right.
So if somebody is so for example, in your position, is your position a position it's a position within the Congress, correct?
Right.
Not on the executive board.
It is on the executive board.
Okay, it is on the executive board. Are you assigned or called, or whatever term you want to use, to be in that capacity for a certain period of time?
You only been asked. Okay, if you're asked for a certain time, yes.
Okay, how long?
4 years.
4 years. So your term began in 2011?
Right.
And it goes till when?
2015.
Okay. And let me, can we use your exhibit? I'm going to show you, oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Let's see, exhibit 79.
Okay. I saw it being over it.
It's over here, it's right there. I'm going to show you what we've previously marked as exhibit 79. This is a, this shows the leadership members, and this one is in, this one is actually in English. Here, you want to show them 80 as well. 80 is in Vietnamese. Have you seen this document before?
Not in the same shape. It's,
What do you mean same shape? Was the other one in a circle or different?
Yeah, different material.
What do you mean by material?
Yeah, normally these would be published in color and on the glossy paper, and it would be acknowledged by the particular temple where it's being held and published.
What do you mean where it's being held?
Like I say, the annual meeting, the annual open forum, move from one temple to the other. So whomever released this would sign it off on it, so that the public will recognize where it's being held.
Did you have any affiliation with the Congress in 1996?
In what term?
Term of affiliation. Did you have any affiliation, association?
By knowing them or attending to that event?
Sure.
Yeah, I attended the event in 1996.
Were you affiliated with the executive board of the Congress in 1996?
Objection asked and answered.
In which way?
Anyway.
Anyway, like running errand for them?
Sure. You whatever. Did you have any affiliation with the executive board in 1996?
No.
Do you know? I mean, based on what you're saying, that you've seen this document before in a different shape or different material. Do you believe that this document, either Exhibit 80 or Exhibit 79, do not contain correct or truthful information?
I'm sorry. I found the name of the General Counsel, who is now being the judge in California, is last name Nguyen, Nguyen, and first name is Nho, Nho.
And where is that listed on this document?
Number 12. 1603.
What is number 12? What is that?
It is the Office of the General Counsel.
And who else is listed under number 12?
It lists Trần Văn Thuần as assistant to the to Mr. Nguyễn Trọng Nho.
Could you spell that?
The same name you already spelled, correct?
Yeah, this is the name of the defendant, Thuần as assistant to the Mr. Nho.
The same one he spelled before.
Nguyen, Trong, Trong, and then the last is Nho. Okay, but so my question was, you indicated that you hadn't seen this this document in this shape or material before, but do you believe that it contains correct information? I mean, are you saying that to indicate that it's not correct in what it purports to show?
It just look different, but I recognize a certain name and the proper position.
I'm sorry, what?
Proper.
Proper position? Do you know where this document came from?
It came from the executive board of the Congress.
And this was for a term of 1996 to 2000, correct?
Yes.
Do you dispute that Tuan Tran was general counsel or vice chair, general counsel, assistant general counsel for the Congress from 1996 to 2000?
No, there's no dispute there.
Okay. Do you dispute that Tuan Tran was in the office of general counsel either as assistant or vice chair or even chair from 2000 to 2004?
Objection assumes facts not in evidence.
Can you say it again? You kind of lost me there.
Yeah, will you read that back?
Question, do you dispute that Tuan Tran was in the Office of General Counsel, either as assistant or vice chair, or even chair from 2000 to 2004?
Yes. No, it cannot be 2000, it has to be 2001, right? Because in 2000 he still is the member of the General Counsel office.
So you do dispute that Tuan Tran had any role on the executive board in the office in the General Counsel office of the Congress from 2000 or 2001 to 2004?
Yes.
Why did you dispute that?
But I haven't seen any document supporting that.
Do you have any knowledge as to who was on the executive board from after this term that we've been looking at in Exhibit 79 and 80, as to who was on the executive board from 2000 or 2001 through 2004?
Objection vague.
I would recognize it if I've been presented with the document.
So if I told you that using the basis that you've just given me, would you also dispute then that Chun Lok was on the executive board from 2001 to 2004? Unless I show you a document.
Would I dispute that?
Or Tri Lang, or...
For the whole member, if you want me to recite the whole executive board, I will not be able to do that. But for certain individual, I do remember.
Let me show you what's been marked as Exhibit 81. Thank you. Have you seen this document before? And this one is in English. For whatever reason, we do not have a Vietnamese version of this.
Oh, I see. This is going to be here.
This, I will not going to testify about this because the translation is terrible.
How is the translation terrible?
If there is no such thing as the Supreme Code, I don't understand what that means. The religious code, Superintendent Council.
Can you tell what the translation is without having the Vietnamese version in front of you?
No, it's hard for me to say it, but I wouldn't translate it that way.
Okay. Do you see on this document
you
anywhere
still have
where
the
it lists a North Division or South Division of the Congress?
Objection to the extent that the Vietnamese document would speak for itself.
And I'm going to hand you back Exhibit 80, which was the Vietnamese version from 1996 to 2000, and ask you the same question.
No, it shouldn't be in here.
Do you know why that wouldn't contain that information?
Because it would not matter to the Congress, whether you're from the South or from the North.
But wouldn't it be important to delineate that information if he's a vice chair over a vice president over a specific region or division?
Objection
No.
asked and answered.
The Exhibit 81, sorry, do you still have that or did you hand it back?
No.
Do you know why there is a new executive board in 2007?
Objection to the extent, again, that the English translation does not appear to be correct.
I'll object to the objection as to it doesn't appear to be correct because obviously we don't know that because we don't have a Vietnamese version in front of us.
Then I'll have a standing objection. It's the same objection I correctly stated before that you don't have to fight with me about to the
I
document.
think that this was presented by you guys too, just so you know. I think it's one
I
of the
just,
previous documents.
yeah, so all I'm saying, I don't know who was translated by.
Fair enough.
Is there a question pending?
Yeah, there was.
Do you know why there is a new executive board in 2007?
New one. It'll be 2162. Oh,
There's a new board member every year.
every year there's a new board member? Why is that? I thought the board served for 4-year terms.
Well, but if you have someone who died, then what are you going to do?
So
what
if
do
you don't have anyone die, would there still be a new board member every year?
a new board being formed? If you don't have, well, you have more than one situation that would require that the board, that a new board member die, retire, withdraw. I'm tired, being the whipping boy.
So somebody could withdraw and the
Based on
Congress
how,
or
yeah.
the executive board would be changed.
Right.
Okay. Let me hand you what we're marking as Exhibit 119. Council, this is, yeah, it's one of the documents you produced last week. Have you seen this document before?
Yes, it should be longer than this. Because there were many revisions before this thing was issued, and that should be part of the one document. This thing is incomplete.
Well, fair enough. You'll have to take that up with your counsel. It was produced by them. But have you seen that document before?
Yes, in a different format.
Okay. What does this document show?
It shows on page 1 there is a resolution, and the resolution describes the religious council. Okay.
It describes the religious council?
Yes, that there is a resolution, and the first resolution is to affirm the religious council in the United States for the Congress according or as follows.
And what does the rest of this document show?
The rest of the document show the executive board.
Was this for a new executive board?
This is the new executive board.
And is it for a, what's the term on this, for this executive board?
4 years.
But
It starts from 2011 to 2015.
Why did, earlier we were looking at Exhibit 79 and 80. 80 was the one in Vietnamese. 80 showed the executive board for the years 1996 to 2000.
Right.
So even numbered years. Why are we now in 2011, 2015? If they're 4-year terms, why are we now on to even or odd numbered years?
Objection assumes facts not in evidence.
And in 2007, well, we had one that you showed me that you had one that started from 2007. So there's one from 2007 to 2011. And the one that you have not shown me is the one from 2001 to 2006. So there was a 4 years and a 2 years term. Save your thing. It's a storm.
Would there be one from 2001 to 2006? I mean, that's a 5-year term.
No, there's one from 2001 to 2005, and there's a 2005 to 2007. So there's a 2 years term.
Why was there only a 2-year?
Because
I mean, if the practice or pattern was 4 years, why would there be a 2-year?
The change came from the decision from Vietnam to have a new executive board.
But so I mean, if we had a 2-year term, did Vietnam decide that we're no longer having 4-year terms? We're having 2-year terms?
No, it still have 4 years term because you see that it's still 2011, 2015.
So there was a term from 2007 to 2011?
Yes.
So shouldn't that then be 2012 to 2016?
Objection states
it's just
prior testimony.
overlapping.
Document speaks for itself.
Yeah, but
Well,
96. We talked about 96 to 2000. You said so. The next one should be 2001, not 2000.
But the election will start in 2000. At the end of 2000, it's right around Columbus Day. You can watch.
I'm sorry. What was that?
The election is right around Columbus Day.
Okay.
Okay. So it can be some overlapping whenever they issue this. They don't issue on time.
So there could have been overlap then 2000 to 2004, couldn't there?
There could be.
Yeah. And we don't know that because we don't have the document here in front of us.
That's
Correct.
right. Correct.
Okay. But if a prior member of the executive board testified that he was on the executive board from 2000 to 2004, would you have any evidence to dispute that?
Objection assumes facts not in evidence.
It depends. Which one are we talking about? Whether we have that we're going to produce the annual release. If you're asking for that,
No, I'm asking you. You tell me. I'm asking you what evidence you would, if you would have any evidence to dispute the testimony of a prior member of the executive board of the Congress.
Hypothetical.
well, the number one is if the name does not appear in the document on record with the headquarters in California, that's one of the evidence. And second, if the executive member could not produce the document to show to me that he was on it, and that is another point that we could refute.
So if the Congress then itself could not produce that document, would that mean the Congress is not legitimate? I mean, by your same argument?
Well, if the Congress cannot produce and it would render it illegitimate, then there is nothing to dispute at this point. Am I correct? So the Congress should be removed from the lawsuit.
Well, so do I understand correctly that you don't have any evidence that you can point to right now that would dispute that prior testimony?
Objection.
I'll give
Testimony
you something
speaks for
specific
itself.
so that-
Records speak for themselves. Asked and answered. Assumes facts, not an evidence.
You want to give me something specific?
No, I'm asking you to point to something specific. I'm asking you if you have any evidence that you could point me to that would show otherwise.
If you have something specific, then I can point it to you.
Okay, but you don't have anything specific you could point me to?
I cannot point anything specific to you if we don't have anything specific to ask.
Well, you're a representative of the Congress, correct?
That's right, on the specific term,
Yeah.
on specific issue.
Okay.
You know, I don't represent the Congress on theoretical.
No,
issue.
but one of the issues that you do represent the Congress on, where did my thing go? Sorry. There is too much stuff. One of the items that you do represent the Congress on is the history of the Congress, correct?
Correct.
And so what I'm asking you is if a prior member of the executive board testified that he was on the executive board from 2000 to 2004, would you, as a representative of the Congress, so in other words, would the Congress have any evidence to dispute that testimony?
If the executive board member represent himself to be on the executive board at that time for the Congress, we would have record for him being on the executive board for the Congress.
Okay.
If his name doesn't show up, there's no way for us to affirm that he was a member.
So do you have record of that? That's really the question. Do you have record of that?
Record of what?
What you just testified of. That if he was on the executive board, you'd have record of that. So do you have record of that?
We had the record of everyone who has been on the board. And if somebody say that he's the member and he's not on the record, then therefore he's not on the board member.
Okay, so is he on the record or not? From 2000 to 2004?
Who is not on the
record?
Tuan Tran was not on the record.
You know that?
I already looked at the record. I couldn't find his name on the record.
Okay, well, we'd like to ask through your counsel then that you produce the record from 2000, all records showing membership of the executive board of the Congress from 1993 through present date. Do you have those records?
Well, don't look at me, look at her. Because
well, no, I'm asking you if you have those records.
I don't have those records.
Does the Congress have those records?
You
represent the Congress. Do you have those records?
The Congress would have those records.
Okay. And we're going to ask your attorney we're going to ask you to produce those to your attorney so she can produce them to us. In Exhibit, apologize, is that 119? In Exhibit 119, do you see anywhere in there any distinction between the North Division and South Division as you previously testified?
Objection. Asked and answered.
Yes. Okay. The Thích Hộ Giác represent the Southern Division.
I'm sorry,
Okay. Thích Hộ Giác is the representative for the Southern Division. Thích Trí Lãng is the Northern Division.
Where does it say that?
By their practice.
Where does it say that?
By their practice, by their name, Thích Hậu Giác.
Okay, where is that? I don't read Vietnamese.
I'm
I can't
sorry,
see that.
you're
Where is it?
giving me a Vietnamese record.
Okay, well, I'm asking you to show me where that is.
Thích Hậu Giác, it say right there. Thích Hậu Giác, he's a representative of the
In the
Southern
paragraph,
Division.
paragraph number 1?
Under
Point to me on the
right
document
here,
where it says that.
right here. Thích Hậu Giác.
But where does it say Northern Division?
No, the name say it.
Oh no, but I'm asking where it says Northern Division or Southern Division. There's no distinction on there?
No, the name is a distinction by itself.
Well, isn't the name just his name?
That's right.
No,
it's not. It's just a name.
Does
This is a religious
Tikhoyak,
name.
does Tikhoyak mean Northern Division?
No, Thích Hậu Giác doesn't mean Northern Division. Like I already said, Thích Hậu Giác is the representative of the Southern Division, and Thích Trí Lãng is a representative of the Northern Division.
Okay, but I'm asking, does it say that on this document?
I already said that the name said it.
The name says that? How does help me understand? I don't understand how the name says that.
It is a religious name.
Okay, so under the Buddhist religion, Tikhoyak means Southern Division.
No, by recognition. You ask any Buddhist practitioner in the Congress who is Thích Hậu Giác, they would say that he's the president of the Southern Division of Theravada.
How would they know that?
Oh, if you are a Buddhist practitioner, you come,
Okay,
you
but
hear him.
how any Buddhist practitioner?
The one who practiced within the Congress. You come to see him, you will know that.
How though? How will you know that?
The practice is different. The clothing is different. The recitation is different.
So would a member of a Buddhist congregation that's 7 years old, 5 years old, would they know that?
A 7 years old can hardly be a member of the congregation.
How old do you have to be a member of the congregation?
It's not the age. It is how much enlightenment you can get. You can be 70 and you still is not a member of the congregation because you haven't reached to that level yet. You cannot understand it. You can be 8 and you understand that. So it is a matter how you apply it to it.
So you could be 70 and attending the temple and have attended for 20 years and not be a member of the congregation
No,
yet.
not knowing enough to be a member of the congregation.
And so if that's the case, so you could have attended 20 years and not know that Tikhoyak is the president of the Southern Division because you're not enlightened enough.
No, you're not paying enough attention. You're out there talking outside instead of going inside, learning the faith. Okay.
Well, I'm trying to understand how somebody looking at this document.
Mm-hmm.
Help me know that. Let's change directions a little bit. How, looking at this document, how would I know, or how would somebody who's not a member of the Buddhist faith know that Tikhoyak is the president of the Southern Division?
Yes, you cannot know if you are not a practitioner.
Okay. And if anybody, whether a member or not, looking at this document, would they know that Tikhoyak or Chanlak are presidents of the Northern or Southern Division?
Objection asked and answered.
Say it again.
Would anybody, whether they're a member, practicing member or not, looking at this document, and just looking at this document alone, know that Tikhoyak or Tik Chanlak are presidents of the Northern or Southern Division?
Some would know.
Okay, but some wouldn't.
Some wouldn't.
Okay, because the document doesn't say that.
But the document will say it. But if they don't recognize it, they will not know.
Well, the document does not say that, actually set forth that title, does it?
The name say it.
Okay, I know it says the name, but it doesn't say the title, does it?
No, it doesn't say the title.
Okay. Are you familiar with executive order or commandment number 9 from the Supreme Patriarch in Vietnam?
Yes.
What does executive order or directive number 9 say?
Objection, document speaks for itself.
I don't know. I haven't been able to find it. Yeah, no. Are you familiar with that document?
Yes. I can give you the summary.
Okay, please do.
Okay, the executive order number 9 is from the Venerable Thích Quảng Độ, the Patriarch in Vietnam, directing the executive board member to strengthen the human resources, and also to improve the education of the member in the United States.
Was the executive board of the Congress reformed or revised as a part of executive order number 9?
Objection, assumes facts not in evidence.
No.
Not at all?
No.
Okay. Was there any order from the Patriarch in Vietnam which reformed or revised the Congress in or around 2007?
Objection, assumes facts not
I'm
in
not
evidence.
familiar with that organization.
What organization?
You were saying something patriot?
You're not familiar with the term patriarch?
Is that an organization?
No, it's title of a person. Are you familiar with that?
I think that you mispronounced it or something, because it's not doesn't sound very familiar to me.
Okay. Well, how would
you have you reading it from a document? May I see it?
How would you refer to the venerable, and I can't pronounce his name, the leader of the Congress in Vietnam? Does he have a title?
Yeah, Thống Thích Quảng Độ.
Thích Quảng Độ.
Yes.
What's his title?
Thống.
Which is what?
The patriarch.
Okay, so didn't I say that?
No, you say patriarch.
Patriarch
Yeah.
is different from patriarch?
No, I thought it just...
It's just a confusion. Let's keep moving forward.
Okay.
We've had plenty of those over the 7 days of depositions. We all speak,
Yes.
So let's keep moving
So
forward.
you're saying, okay, you're saying that because there was a directive from the patriarch Thích Quảng Độ in 2007, which result in the reforming of the executive board. Is that your question?
That's what I had asked, and you said no. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And then you were referring to the number 9, right?
Executive order number 9?
Yes.
I had asked you about executive order number 9, yes.
All right.
You need to get a new binder.
Yes, I do.
Or broke it.
It's, yeah.
Sorry, Kelsey.
It's okay.
I won't call the police.
As long as there's not a physical confrontation over it. Are you familiar with the Buddhist monastic code?
It depends who translated. What is in Vietnamese?
I don't know. I don't speak
I
Vietnamese.
cannot tell you.
You can't tell me if you're familiar with the Buddhist monastic code?
There are so many.
What do you mean there's so many?
There's so
What
many
is it?
publications. There's so many publications of the Buddhist monastic code.
Okay, so what is the Buddhist monastic code?
How to conduct yourself in front of the three jewels, and how to conduct yourself when you want to become a monk.
I'm sorry, how to conduct
3
yourself.
joules.
Pardon?
3 joules.
Okay.
How to conduct yourself.
If
When
you
you,
want to
when,
become a
if you want to become a monk, and how do you want to conduct yourself if you want enlightenment? And several monks have written several books on the code, because the code is not in English. The code was not in Vietnamese either. It began in Bali, and very few people read Bali.
So that so the Buddhist monastic code, you're saying it depending on the translation, it could say different things
Yes.
depending on who translated it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Does the Congress rely on, or I'm sorry, strike that. Does the Congress require affiliated members in various congregations to adhere to the Buddhist monastic code?
Objection vague.
All right. The adhesion to the Buddhist monastic code, it depends on what level you want to commit yourself. It is because it is on voluntary basis. Say that I want to achieve level 6, so there are 10 things that I should refrain from doing. Right? But if I want to be able to visit the temple, bow to the Buddha and bow to the Sangha, there are less things that I need to refrain myself. So the monastic code is a guide for the one who want to practice and how much he want to commit himself.
So there's nothing required by the Congress for members in terms of adhering to the monastic code. There's not a checklist of things that people have to require to as a part of their membership.
Objection assumes facts not in evidence.
Unless you have committed to a certain level. If you testify that you want to be level 6, then by your own recognition you have to adhere to certain code. But if you are not, and you don't have to.
So how about a monk? What level would a monk adhere to?
Oh, it depends on the enlightenment. But the lowest level, it will be in the hundreds.
Okay. And if for some reason a monk or somebody failed, say they had testified that they wanted to adhere to level 120, and then they, for some reason, because of the imperfection of human beings, they failed to adhere to one of those or some of those.
That's right.
Would they be kicked out of the Congress or the
Objection.
congregation?
Well,
Vague, ambiguous, hypothetical.
in that event, first, if they ask for forgiveness or not. If they don't want to ask for forgiveness, they can voluntarily leave. If they ask for forgiveness, the master has to witness the action, whether it was being done in good faith or not. So the master for that monk is going to be punished as well as the monk himself. So it's just like vicarious liability.
Let me show you what's been marked as Exhibit 1. What is that? 114. No, that was from last time. Have you seen this document before? I don't know why the second page is blank, but really starting on the third page.
This is a public announcement.
To whom?
Actually, it was for everyone, and the Phổ Quang Pagoda was one of the members. So they received it.
So this is to all congregations of the Congress?
That's correct.
And on the back there, this is a little cleaner version of the stamp that I think we looked at earlier in one of the other exhibits.
Yeah.
What is that stamp?
That stamp is for the executive board.
So again, I think as we discussed earlier, or as you testified earlier, and please correct me if I get this wrong, I think you said that's different from the stamp of the Congress?
That's correct.
Okay, so I'm sorry, what did you call this, an announcement?
Yes, it's a public announcement.
And it's a public announcement of what?
This is the public announcement that was carry the Directive number 9 that was issued from Saigon, from Vietnam in 2007. So this was sent out to all members in 2008.
So do you know why this appears, the date on this was the 21st of May of 2008. Do you know why this wasn't sent until, what is that, almost 8 months after Executive Order number 9?
Yes, it would take that long. It would take that long for the member to come to a resolution, whether they will issue this.
So Executive Order, like the Executive Order number 9, that comes from the Patriarch, did I say that right?
Yeah,
in Vietnam.
Yes.
And then this is from Thích Ho-Yak
Right.
in the Congress here in America.
Right.
Okay. Now, is because of the stamp on there, does that mean that this is only from the Venerable Thích Ho-Yak, or
Yes.
is it from the entire Congress?
No, it is from the Venerable Thích Ho-Yak, because this was copied to the Supreme Religious Board, and that board represent the Congress, okay, and if you would recognize that there's no lay person in that board in any of these documents that you have in your possession.
I'm sorry. I told you I was going to, and I'm sorry. I'm done with that. Sorry. I told you I was going to jump around a little bit, and I apologize. I'm not doing this to try and make things difficult. I thought I heard you testify earlier today, and please correct me if I misheard you or misunderstood you. I thought you testified earlier, and it may have been even before lunch, that Thich Lãng was the president of the Congress.
Objection to the state's prior testimony.
He's the current president of the Congress.
When did he become the current president of the Congress?
In 2011.
In 2011, he became the president of the Congress?
Yes.
And you're looking at what we just marked as Exhibit 119?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that you don't have the whole thing. You only have the portion for the executive board. You don't have it for the whole Congress.
What else would it show?
I don't understand.
What else would it show if we had the full document?
It also would have show the directive in details from the patriarchs in Vietnam, and it would also receive his affirmation in details for the nomination of the members of the Congress.
Does it say on here that that the Venerable Thich Lãng is the president of the Congress?
No, it doesn't, because this is not for the Congress. This is only for the executive board.
So, outside of the executive board, what else do you have in the Congress?
You have the actual Congress board, and there will be no lay person as member of that board.
So there's no. So you have the. And how many? What is that board called?
It would call the Giáo Hội Phật giáo Thống Nhất, oversee. I mean hải ngoại. I mean oversee.
Oh, the overseeing board, like the overseeing
Congress,
board.
The oversee Congress.
Okay. You can put just parentheses, the Vietnamese speaking or something like that. Assuming
It's fine with
we're
me.
all okay with that.
Yeah. None of us are going to be able to read it anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So you have the. I'm just trying to understand the makeup of the Congress then. So we have in the Congress as a whole, you have this oversight or not oversight but overseeing board.
Yes.
That's kind of the direct translation.
Right.
Okay. And then below them you have the executive board.
Exactly.
So would this overseeing board be similar to like a board of trustees?
It would have the eyes, the ears, of the patriarchs. We, in the executive board member, we are just there to execute the directive. So the member need to be a professional individual or licensed individual, like accountant or lawyer.
To be on the executive board?
No,
No,
because it would be necessary in order to accomplish what the directive would require us to do.
And how many members are on this overseeing board or board of trustees?
It varies between 12 to 14.
So you have so this board, are they all monks?
They're all monks.
So when you were saying they have to be professionally licensed,
No.
that
In
was,
the executive board.
that's the executive board. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you have
So-
professor here, you have attorneys.
So as I look at coming back again to Exhibit 119, this exhibit does not show this. It just shows the executive board.
Yes.
It does not show this oversight or overseeing board.
Right.
Are the people on that board, are they also listed on this on Exhibit 119?
Yes, some of them.
So who is currently on that board?
The overseeing board?
The overseeing board. Thank you. I mean, if we just say called the overseeing board, can we all agree we know what we're talking about?
Yes, we
Okay.
should. I don't know every name, but the majority of them would come from this group.
And you're going through the list, the first list, or the list shown on the first page of Exhibit 119, correct?
Right.
None of them would be on the list on the second page? Or would they?
No, they have overlapping function. They have overlapping function. Some of them are on
you're right, you're right.
Some of them have overlapping function.
Some of them are both places.
Right.
Okay. When did this overseeing board first come into? When was it first organized?
It's always been there. It's called different name. That is the name that I'm using, so that we can distinguish.
Did you spell it in Vietnamese? The name of the board?
If I say it's not going to sound right.
I apologize. You may have said this already. When we were looking at Exhibit 80 earlier, the 96 to 2000, was this overseeing board listed on that exhibit as well?
Yes.
It was listed?
Yes.
Then let me do that. Then let me. No, I can't open that, or I'm going to apparently break
Why don't
my
we-
binder even further.
Number 90? 80?
No, 80.
Okay.
80.
I'll give it to you.
Oh, okay. For they would have called it. Right here.
Second
In
page.
Vietnamese, it's going to be this.
The first line?
Yes.
So that was
So you're pointing at the first line on the second page of Exhibit 119.
Right.
No, in
No,
the
it's not.
CC, in the CC line.
Yeah, CC line.
Should we
Thank
spell
you.
it for the record?
Sure.
CHUR dash or space TON space GIAO space PHAM space HOI space DONG space LUONG space VIEN. And there are like phonetic diphthongs and whatnot in that I didn't pronounce.
So is this council that we've been talking about, is it listed on the first page of Exhibit 80?
No, not the first page, but the let me see, the third page.
Third page?
Yes. And look at number 12.
Number 12?
Right, and right above the defendant trend name. That is the general counsel who now is the judge in Orange County.
Yeah. No, but what I guess what I was asking, I thought you said that this overseeing board is shown on Exhibit 80.
No, it's shown on Exhibit 19, and this is the overseeing board. Hold on a bit.
That's the name of the overseeing
Right.
board. Okay. But so you're saying that it doesn't show them listed on the 1996
No, it
to
isn't
2000
called the same
document?
way. No, it's not called the same way.
All right. Let's see. Apologize. I told you I was going to jump around a little bit, so I apologize about that. Were you present during the, again, I apologize if you said this already, were you present during the open forum meeting where it was determined that the Congress would transfer title of the Fo Quang Pagoda to Đạo Tràng?
Yes.
Okay. And that was a phone conference, correct?
No, that was a live.
That was live, in person.
In person.
Okay. And where was that meeting held at?
In Houston, Texas.
That was that a general meeting? Or was it a meeting of the executive board?
It was a meeting of the executive board.
Were all members of the executive board present?
The majority.
Okay. And when was that meeting held?
In 2010, late, around November, December.
Okay, in 2010?
Right.
And you were present at that in which capacity?
As a proposed member to become general counsel.
It was the Venerable Thich Chan Lak there?
Yes.
Do you have minutes from that meeting?
No, I don't.
Does the Congress have minutes from that meeting?
No.
Were any minutes kept?
There was an issue. There was a letter, a resolution. And I think that you already have that.
Was that resolution issued in Vietnamese?
Yes.
Yeah, it hasn't been produced yet, though. Or, I mean, introduced as an exhibit. It's one that we just got the other day. I'm going to show you. And we can mark it. Yeah, we can mark
Which
it.
number?
Exhibit 120.
Thank you. I'm going to have you start on the third page. Is this the resolution you're talking about on the third page? I think the third page, I think, is the Vietnamese version.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So there were no minutes kept, but there was this resolution that resulted from that meeting?
Right.
Okay. And what does that resolution say or indicate?
Say that they appointed the Venerable Thích Trí Lãng, to be the religious leader and to represent the Congress with all power to manage the religious issue at the Phổ Quang Temple with the address at 1185 West 1000 North Salt Lake, Utah, 84116. And for the second resolution, the Venerable Thích Trí Lãng will accept this resolution to execute this resolution and to report all events at the related to the religious issue at the Phổ Quang Pagoda to the board of to the executive board.
Is this a resolution of the Congress or of the executive board of the Congress?
This is a resolution for by the executive board.
But as a resolution of the executive board, is it binding on the entire Congress?
It is the Congress has to vote to pass this resolution. Okay, and if there is no objection to it, it will pass it and become the Congress decision.
And that vote, does that take place at the annual meeting?
That vote can be taken on the monthly open forum.
But the monthly open forum, isn't that by invitation only?
That's correct.
And that was the telephonic conference?
Right.
So how would the entire Congress vote on a resolution in that meeting?
In that meeting, prior to that meeting, there will be an agenda, and this will be entered into the agenda, and then this matter will be put in front of the Congress, and they will ask 3 times. First time, any objection? If you have any objection, raise your voice. Okay, and they have to ask 3 times, and after 3 times there was no objection, then this matter passed.
So how would members of a congregation participate in a meeting like that?
Objection assumes facts not in evidence.
In order for a member, they have to ask the executive member whether their issue can be put on the agenda.
Well, what if they don't have an issue, but they just want to vote on a resolution that's already on the agenda?
They cannot
Objection
vote.
misstates prior
They
testimony.
can't vote?
They cannot vote.
Then how does the entire Congress vote on a resolution like
Oh, the
that?
Congress member, yes, can vote on that.
Who are the Congress members?
The member of Hội đồng Lưỡng Viện, that is
The executive board?
in
That-
addition to others.
I'm sorry?
In addition to other member.
What other members?
This is the executive board. They're going to be there, and this is the Congress.
The overseeing board?
Yes.
Are you referring to this overseeing board as the Congress? Don't the overseeing board and the executive board both make up the Congress?
That's right.
And then are there others that are considered members of the Congress?
As far as making the voting, okay, only the members for the monthly voting. And when it comes to the annual, the delegate also vote on that.
So a resolution like this is not going to be voted upon by members of every congregation who are affiliated with the Congress.
Objection assumes
Is that
facts
correct?
not in
Correct.
evidence.
A resolution like that is only going to be voted upon by the overseeing board and the executive board.
Right.
Okay, so when you say it had to be voted upon by the Congress, it's just those two.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have any minutes from that meeting, in which the meeting of the Congress, when this resolution was voted on?
No.
Are there minutes kept for those meetings?
No.
Okay. Is there any synopsis or record of who attended those meetings?
No.
Any record of who voted or how who voted on what and how a vote came out?
Objection asked
No.
and answered.
Let me have you turn to the last page again of that Exhibit 120. The seal there, or the stamp, that is the stamp of the executive board?
Objection
correct.
asked and answered.
Okay. So if, how would anyone know whether that resolution was approved or passed by the Congress?
What do you mean? How anyone know? The member of the voting member of the Congress would have known.
But so I mean, if it must be voted on to be effective, it has to be voted on and approved by the voting members to be effective, correct?
Right.
And it has to be in writing, as you said earlier in reference to other documents. It has to be in writing to be recognized by the Congress, correct?
Correct.
Then why aren't there any minutes which would document how a vote came down?
Objection asked and answered.
Because there's none.
I understand there's none. My question is why?
I cannot tell you why.
Why not?
Because there's no reason. If they decide not to have it, they don't have it.
But so how would members of the Phổ Quang Pagoda, for example, know that the Congress passed this resolution or approved this resolution?
They were told by the Venerable Thích Trí Lãng, and a deed was executed.
So, as I understand your testimony, please again tell me if I misinterpret any of this or misstate any of it. The Congress will not rely upon oral statements of others, but members of Congress-affiliated congregations are expected to simply rely on oral statements of monks of the Congress when told that title has passed from one hand to another.
Objection misstates prior testimony.
Yeah,
Have I understood that correctly?
you're wrong.
Okay, how am I wrong? Please help me understand
Yes,
it.
because there is a deed, and the deed clearly states that the title was transferred. It was not by mere word.
Well, I understand that, but I could sign a deed, and that doesn't mean it's proper. What I'm wondering is how is a member of the Phổ Quang congregation going to know that, hey, this deed is proper because it was voted on, it was decided by the executive board, and it was voted upon and passed by the entire Congress? How are they going to know that?
Objection misstates prior testimony.
Okay. They don't want to know that.
Why would they not want to know that? That's why I have two members of that congregation sitting here behind me.
Okay, objection argumentative.
The congregation already passed the title to the Congress, right? So by that time, the Congress has taken the responsibility for the title of the property. And if Congress decides to give title to Đạo Tràng Pháp Hoa, what is the congregation has to do with that transfer?
Well, they attend that temple, don't they?
Objection.
Yeah, the temple remains to be the same. The temple has not moved from one location to another.
Well, let me ask you this, and maybe this goes to why they would be interested. Did members of the Đạo Tràng congregation pay any money to purchase the Phổ Quang Pagoda? Phổ Quang.
Objection calls for a legal conclusion and assumes facts not in evidence.
Are you aware of any monies paid by any member of the Đạo Tràng congregation for purchase, maintenance, repair, upkeep, before transfer of this title to Đạo Tràng by any member of the Đạo Tràng congregation?
Objection, it assumes Đạo Tràng is a congregation.
I'm here to represent the Congress. You're asking me about Đạo Tràng Pháp Hoa.
Yeah, I'm just asking if...
No, it's not that simple. I'm here for the Congress. Why are you asking me about Đạo Tràng Pháp Hoa?
Well, but you're also saying that you also said to me, why would any member of the congregation care who owned it?
No, care about the Congress, giving the title to Đạo Tràng Pháp Hoa. Okay, so I'm here for the Congress.
Did Congress ever pay any money for the purchase, upkeep, maintenance, anything related to the Phổ Quang Pagoda?
Yes.
Objection.
What did they pay?
They pay for a lot.
What?
A lot of land that was included and was sold. A lot of land that was in their name that was sold and used that as money to purchase.
How did the Congress who you told me,
That's
us, has no assets,
Right.
has no bank account,
Right.
how did the Congress own this land in West Valley City?
It was by donation.
The land was donated to the Congress?
Yes.
Where is that documented?
Objection, document speaks for itself.
Like, the documentation is in one of those binder, and it's already been provided by defendant Tran.
Well, I'm interested to see what document shows that the Congress owned the property in West Valley City, and it was donated to the Congress. Was any property ever deeded to the Congress or donated to the Congress?
Objection. Document speaks for itself.
Are you aware of how that land was ever donated to the Congress?
Just by looking at the document, the Congress name was on it, and it was sold under the name of the Congress.
Would it be fair to say that you have no personal knowledge as to how that happened?
I don't understand what you mean by I don't have any knowledge. You mean that I cannot understand the written information on the document?
Well, do you have any personal knowledge as to how any of those transactions occurred?
Objection calls for a legal conclusion.
What do you mean by personal knowledge when I can read the document, and the document stated clearly the title of that lot was in the name of the Congress, and it was sold. And
so you only know that any information you have on that is just based on what you've read, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Now, earlier you testified that other than the Phổ Quang Pagoda, the Congress has never, and I mean never because I believe that's what you said, owned any other property. Why didn't you mention this property in West Valley City? If they had owned other property, why didn't you mention that earlier in your testimony?
Because it was related to the Phổ Quang Pagoda.
But that's not the Phổ Quang Pagoda. In fact, it's not even where the Phổ Quang Pagoda is.
Objection.
Correct?
Argumentative.
There was a plan to build the temple at that location.
Okay, but not the Phổ Quang Pagoda.
But then what is still the Phổ Quang Pagoda? It's just that it's a different building, different location, but the name, the intent to have a temple, a pagoda there is the Phổ Quang Pagoda. So that piece of land was donated to have a pagoda built. And they decide not to build on that piece of land. So they sold that piece of land and used the proceeds to buy the property where the Phổ Quang Pagoda is now located.
How do you understand that the land was donated?
Objection asked and answered.
How do I understand it? The plain meaning.
Okay, explain it to me, because I don't get the plain meaning.
You don't get it?
No.
Well, let me use a dictionary for you then. Can I get up and get him the dictionary?
Was there
Donated meaning
was there
that-
any determination by the Congress that that they would accept this donation, or that they had this land?
Say that again.
Was
I
there
don't
any
understand.
resolution, directive, anything from the Congress showing that they owned this land?
I don't believe that there should be any directive as long as there's title.
How is it that an organization that espouses no possessions and possession of nothing, no land, no assets, nothing, has been so focused on ownership of land that they paid no money for and a temple that they paid no money for?
Objection. Argument.
Doesn't that go
calls for a
against the
legal
whole
conclusion.
tenet of Buddhism?
Wow.
Assumes
Number
facts,
one-
not an evidence.
Number one is that you misstate the position. First, the Congress has made contribution by allowing the land that was under the title of the Congress to be sold and the proceeds to be used for the purchase of the Phổ Quang Pagoda. I mean, you have in your hand record like that, and you are misstating it. What is the purpose? My answer to that is that you try to persuade me to say that it is wrong for the Congress to focus on the real property. It is not the real property that the Congress focuses on. It is on the religious well-being of the practitioner. Because without the location, the facilities, the practitioner cannot come and practice their faith. It's just like you cannot go running around naked, even though you espouse no material possession. You cannot die of hunger, even though you espouse no material possession. You cannot take a shower or shave, even though you espouse no material possession.
Between 1994 and in 1994 1995, did the Congress ever file any tax statement, financial statement, or otherwise listing the West Valley lots as an asset of the Congress?
Objection calls for a legal conclusion, assumes facts not in evidence.
I didn't find any.
Because other than the Phổ Quang Pagoda, as you testified earlier, the Congress never had any property or any assets.
Objection
Right.
misstates prior testimony.
If the Congress does not have any property or assets, why did it take the Congress 10 years to? Why did they hold on to the Phổ Quang Pagoda for 10 years?
It's not holding on to the Phổ Quang Pagoda for 10 years. It is to allow an amicable, peaceful, friendly solution for the parties to come together.
How is an amicable resolution to transfer ownership of the pagoda to an organization completely unrelated with the organization that originally purchased the
That is
pagoda?
after.
Objection assumes facts not in evidence.
Yeah, that is after time has passed. After 8 years, after 10 years has passed, the defendant continue to lock out monks, lock out nuns, lock out practitioners to come on their own will to worship at the Phổ Quang Pagoda. Then the Congress has to make a decision to transfer the title to Đạo Tràng Pháp Hoa.
Because that would establish compassion to transfer it to them as opposed to back to the entity that originally transferred it to the Congress.
Objection misstates prior testimony.
The compassion would be shown because Đạo Tràng Pháp Hoa is the religious leader for the majority of the congregant.
The majority?
Yes.
Okay. The majority is, I think you said 30 to 60?
Objection misstates prior
Congregants?
testimony.
Is that what you said on a regular basis?
On a regular basis.
Okay. Do you know how many members there are in the association,
Objection.
formerly the society?
Currently,
anytime
No,
in the last 10
currently.
years.
currently, right?
Sure.
In the
or anytime
association,
in the last 10 years.
they come and go. And so if it is current, I would say any more than 15 people.
How do you know that?
Because I was there, I saw them coming to the Phổ Quang Pagoda.
Does the Congress maintain control of any other corporation?
None. No other than the corporation that it has the name.
Are there any other entities related to the Congress that the Congress has any ownership or management in or partial control of?
None.
Okay. Does the Congress have any control or management or other managerial part of Đạo Tràng?
None.
Is there any other corporation on which Congress monks sit on the board of directors?
Objection vague.
Would you restate that?
Yeah. So is there any other corporation, like an association or society, Đạo Tràng, or any other that a Congress monk sits on its board of directors?
There's no such thing as Congress monk. Either the Congress is a legal entity. The makeup of the Congress came from various members who are monks leading various congregations. So therefore, to ask for something like that, I don't have an answer because it's not even proper.
So these monks, earlier there was some discussion about a visiting monk. Well, before I get into that question, we need to change a tape. So why don't we take a quick break? We'll change the tape, and then I'll ask that question.
We are off the record at 4:44.
Dallas, what time do you need to leave?